Hello, Josh Moore here. Taking a little jog out on some back roads along the tracks here in South Royalton, doing some thinking. And really been thinking a lot about what it means to be a Christian, what it means to follow Jesus Christ. And I think a lot of people that I encounter, at least up in these parts, they seem to think that following Jesus is about keeping all the rules. And lots of times those rules that these folks want to follow are rules that are made up for themselves. They're not even the directives that God gives us in His Word. Rules like on how to spend your money, rules on how you dress, and rules on what you can watch on TV and what sort of movies you can watch, rules on how to live your life. But when you go to the Bible, you don't find these things there. You don't find these rules. So I think what a lot of folks want to do is we want to create for ourselves a law, if you will, to obey. And when we obey that law, lots of times the law that we create is one that we like. It's one that we feel very comfortable with. One that maybe in our own strength and flesh we can obey. But it doesn't accomplish anything. It accomplishes nothing. It does nothing. It achieves nothing. There's no reward except maybe the sort of personal gratification that we get out of obeying this law that we've made up for ourselves. But there's no reward. And so it's a really bizarre thing. But what we've done is we've exchanged the law of God. We've exchanged what God has given to us, a law that's very difficult and one that's impossible for sinful people to obey apart from the regenerating work of the Holy Spirit in our hearts. We've exchanged that very difficult and divine law for a man-made law that we can obey, but it gets us nothing. And so I think a lot about that. I've been thinking a lot about that lately because it's something that's so pervasive here, and I think it keeps a lot of people from God. It keeps our churches devoid of the fruits of the Spirit, because to obey these laws, you don't have to depend upon the Spirit to be to say, to dress a certain way and to be frugal with your money, and to not, to obey all these human sort of standards about how to spend money and how your yard should look, and and what events you should go to and which ones you should not go to and avoid. That doesn't require the empowerment of the Holy Spirit. It's something. It's an obedience that can be accomplished in the flesh, and so the Spirit is oftentimes in these people's lives very much absent. There's no real looking to God and depending upon God and trusting God for the resources to obey His law and His commands. There's just this sort of fleshly thing going on. So anyways, I've been pondering that a lot, and I think it's one of the reasons why so many folks up here miss Christ. They don't understand Him, and our churches are devoid of the power of the Holy Spirit. They're devoid of the fruits of the Spirit because everything I just said. So anyway, doing some wrestling as I walk here, and so I guess I would compel or urge you, and of course myself here, whoever's listening to this video, let's not craft a new law. Let's look to God for His directives and for the strength to obey them, which is supplied by the Holy Spirit.